She Sees Red is our first murder mystery FMV game, which is surprising because I'd imagine there'd be 1,000,001 of these, because you could just really easily set up, someone died and someone did it, you gotta choose.
Yeah, it's an untapped market, I guess.
I don't think this one really did that, though. And I think it could have done it. It could have been really easy to just do some really simple, you got 6 people in a room, one of them did it. But this one kind of does a really interesting back and forth between seeing what the murderer was doing and the detective lady figuring it out as they went along.
I really like the main person, the main lady. She's really interesting.
She's got a Sherlock Holmes vibe about her.
Yeah, she does, but not as weird and wacky. Not as, like, obviously weirdly fake, you know? Classic Sherlock, not BBC Sherlock, I guess.
It's brilliantly physically performed.
Yeah.
I think everybody does a really good physical job, but there's one aspect to every performance that ruins all of them, and it's the dubbing. Because I think it's Russian, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, of course. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, a lot of the dubbing is just so poorly done to a point where it's like it's meant to be a really intense moment, and they're kind of saying it really weirdly.
I don't.
They're really over the top.
Yeah.
And there's no inflection to any of it.
No.
It's just said off the page. And I think this would be so good if that wasn't holding it back.
Yeah, because the way they were acting, I can imagine the voice acting would have been really good.
They were going for it.
Yeah, they were proper going for it. And there was a whole bunch of weird and wacky characters, and I like that.
I quite enjoyed all the characters. The mob boss type guy, I thought was quite endearing for a mob boss.
Although there was some sections where the mob boss just seemed maybe a bit too knowledgeable.
I know what you mean. I think it's the writing. I think there are some leaps of logic in the writing where characters just kind of figure things out. And when the detective lady does it, you go, well, she's a detective lady.
Yeah.
But when the mob boss does it, it's kind of like, how?
Yeah.
How did you know that?
How did you know that the person there was under a table? How do you know that?
Yeah, it's that bit where it's like they hide on the table and they get a scar because the chip fat drips down onto them and he sees chip fat on the ground in the kitchen. So therefore he knows they were hidden under the table and somehow it hit them before hitting... You're in a kitchen, there's just shit on the floor.
Yeah, it's just like there's just oil spill.
How does one lead to the other?
Also,
it doesn't.
Why did that person spill oil? There's oil everywhere. Wipe it up. It's just rude.
Bad writing, bad kitchen staff.
Yeah, well, bad security guard, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm blaming the wrong people.
Yeah, don't blame the kitchen staff.
Did he hide under this table?
Yeah.
This one isn't the best, but it might have been the most enjoyable. And the most surprising.
I'd say it's one of the better ones. I'd definitely put this one above Complex.
Above Complex, but below Late Shift.
Yeah, but above Simulacra.
Yeah, it's different. Simulacra is going for its own weird thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd sooner play this one again. This one we did play a few times.
That was also great because we did have to play it twice to be able to play it again and again, but it was a very short story, and you could skip scenes that you'd already seen. So it did make things a lot quicker.
That's a double-edged sword,
Yeah.
the length of the story, because it is very short. So in terms of value for money, you're better off getting Late Shift or the Complex or Bunker that we'll talk about soon, or any of them really. This one is very, very short, at about maybe 3 hours. In about 3 or 4 hours, we had played it through a few times.
The main bulk of the story was probably about 2.5 to 3 hours.
Which is a reasonable length for
it's quite
what's
good.
essentially a film.
Yeah. How much did that one cost?
About the same as the others. I can't remember, maybe £8 in
That's
a sale.
not too bad,
but
to be fair.
they never go above 15.
I can accept £8 for that. I feel like it's worth that kind of money.
Yeah, I don't regret it.
No, not at all.
And especially because in terms of... We talked about Late Shift earlier, and I was kind of saying that it shies away from person-on-person action and goes more for the car chase sort of stuff. This one does not shy away from action scenes, and some of them are really good.
Yeah, it was quite impressive, actually.
It's like John Wick.
Maybe a bit less intense.
Well, it's not as good as John Wick, sure. It's no Keanu Reeves, but still, they're very well choreographed, they're very well shot, the lighting's really good. None of it looked fake.
No, that's true. And also, depending on where you went, you did get different sections of story. You got different endings as well, which
It
is
led
quite
kind of
interesting.
to the same area, but there were different ways of getting there, and they were unique enough in each one to not necessarily make a second playthrough necessary, but not unenjoyable.
I think because when we played the first playthrough, the ending we got wasn't a bad ending at all. It was quite a good ending. I was quite satisfied with that ending.
I was confused by it.
But yeah, I was confused. I think we had to play it again to really understand what was actually going on.
I think that's a bad thing.
I understand why, but I didn't mind playing it again because we went down a different path that we hadn't gone down. So we were able to experience both sides.
This is one of those scenarios where we can't tell you that it's good or it's bad.
Yeah.
Because I think we both feel differently about that. I think after the first ending was done, I'd experienced the end. After the first time, doesn't matter what new tidbits you give me, I know how it ends. I've experienced it. I felt the height of what I'm going to feel. And it had been ruined by this really sudden and confusing series of events that we won't spoil.
No.
But you were more willing than me to kind of jump back and piece it together.
I think technically the ending made sense. We just didn't understand some information.
I don't know if that's lost in translation or the writing or...
Maybe.
I don't think it was us, because even replaying it, there were some bits where I was like, oh, so that's what they were trying to do, but they never made that clear.
I quite liked it.
It's a fun little romp.
Yeah.
Really well shot, really well lit. Loved the action sequences. And it's a lot more violent than I expected it to be.
Oh yeah, there's some really grim moments.
The kitchen fight specifically just has some gnarly shit in there.
Whoever did the makeup for this game, I was going to say film.
It's kind of both.
Yeah, kind of both. It's really good. It's really grim. Like, the kitchen scene, if you do end up going down that path, is really fun in a really grim way.
It's not fun for the guy you're fighting.
Not at all, and not fun to necessarily watch. I had to look away because it looked really grim.
I thought it was really kind of clever and cool way, because it's not just a fight in a kitchen. They use things that you find in the kitchen. Like whoever's idea it was to take the heat thermometer and have him shove it through the guy's hand. And he's trying to peel it. It's not play. This isn't for the faint of heart.
No.
If you don't like gore.
I mean, it's also not like the goriest of things.
No,
like,
but
there
are just some sections that, if you're not a fan of blood, this isn't for you.
Yeah, you might have to look away. But yeah, absolutely. The person who did the makeup for this did a fantastic job.
I think everyone did a fantastic job, except for the people that did the dubbing. I could do a better job.
Yeah, screw you guys.
I'll do it now.
Stab.
What's this chip fat on the floor? Well, wait a minute. I know what's going on. That's more of an internal monologue. I know what's going on here. I've cracked the case.
Oh boy.
I'm a mob boss. People probably think that's bad. That's better than whatever the other fucking guys were doing.
Well, I mean, it wasn't dreadful. It could have been better, pretty much.
It's trash.
Yeah.
It feels like they had the words in front of them but couldn't see the screen.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Something random. The title sequence music. We've heard it before.
The opening, not the opening of the game.
Yeah.
The little title sequence beforehand is such a bad first impression.
Oh yeah, it's so lazy.
Generic royalty-free music, just a bottle in a hallway that's not even a shot from the full thing.
No.
It is lazy. Because
this was a game that we played after we played Simulacra, and that music was really banging. So it just kind of... It was a bit of a letdown. Whoever chose that royalty-free music, it was a bit of a letdown.
Do a better job.
Yeah.
This is why I was talking about before, when I was saying the Wales Interactive games, I think I give them too much credit. Because they probably do the video gamey sides, the words on the screen and decisions, and they piece it together so the coding says when you click this, it plays this. And it would have been those guys that put that title menu together, but the people who are making the film, the filmmakers, are phenomenal. This isn't Wales Interactive, this is a different company. It's called like... Rhinotails or something like that. I don't know. But hire these guys again. Because they've made... I don't know what else you've made, but they've made your best game.
Maybe there's a better one.
We won't play it. I actually really enjoyed it more when it wasn't asking us to make decisions.
Yeah, it was quite fun to just sit and watch.
If you cut out the faffy generic choices that kind of pad out the game, I'd happily watch it as a short film. Or a film.
Yeah, I mean, it is film length.
Long story short, and that's what She Sees Red feels like, a long story cut short.
Yeah.
It's decent, but forgettable. Thanks for joining us looking at She Sees Red. I see red as well, because the subscribe button is red.
Was that too cheesy?
Yeah. But it's all
fine.
we've got. I've not got time or the mindset to do another one. If you did feel like leaving a like and commenting or even subscribing, that would mean the world to us and it would really help us out. But if not,
You do you.
Go fuck yourself. Anyway, to those of you that are liking, commenting, and subscribing and watching more videos, I love you guys. Stay safe and cheers.
Bye.